Whoa, there's a giant lizard on the track. Yeah, I'm not joking. Out of turn 3.
Nearly said a bad word, didn't he? Watch.
Formula One is often deadly serious.
Let's have a look at it.
A high-stakes world of speed, precision, and intense competition.
He's going to make the lunge down the inside.
But every now and then, amid the pressure and podiums, pure comedy gold erupts on and off the track.
Before, I'm not going to use all my cares in the team.
I hope he's got some sun cream on. Don't try that at home unless you've got the factor 50.
These are the unexpected F1 moments that had everyone laughing.
Checo! Perez!
Proving that even in the pinnacle of motorsport, laughter is never far away. From drivers' unfiltered one-liners
Do I have a fresh beer?
to bizarre trackside antics, let's dive into the hilarious highlights that fans still talk about today. Mr. Bean at the Grand Prix. When you invite Rowan Atkinson, the actor behind Mr. Bean, to a Formula One race, expect comic genius even if he never says a word. At the 2011 Indian Grand Prix, Atkinson came to cheer on Lewis Hamilton's McLaren. As fate would have it, Hamilton tangled yet again with Ferrari's Felipe Massa on track. A collision, frustration. But the TV director cuts to Rowan Atkinson in the McLaren garage, and the expression on his face is priceless. In a split second, Atkinson goes through a whole silent comedy routine, eyes bulging in outrage, hands flailing in exasperation, and a grimace so animated you'd think it was a Mr. Bean sketch. The broadcast caught every second, and fans lost it. Here was a world-famous comedian inadvertently bringing his slapstick magic to F1. Even though Atkinson was genuinely upset on Lewis's behalf, the over-the-top facial expressions had everyone laughing out loud. The clip went viral, cementing Rowan Atkinson's reaction as an unexpected comedic highlight of the season. It proved that sometimes the funniest F1 moments don't involve drivers at all. Just a perfectly timed cut to a celebrity who couldn't hide his inner Mr. Bean. Sebastian Vettel's press conference zinger. Press conferences are usually boring until Sebastian Vettel decides to crack a joke. The 2014 Abu Dhabi GP pre-race press conference featured an infamously long-winded question from a journalist named Walter Koester. Imagine a rambling monologue about technology in F1 that had the drivers exchanging confused glances. When the moderator finally asked, "Who is this question for?" Vettel pounced with razor-sharp wit. "No, he said it was Nico and me." "You didn't listen. Can you repeat the question?" he deadpanned, poking fun at the situation. The room erupted in laughter. Even his teammate, Nico Rosberg, and other drivers couldn't help but chuckle at Seb turning the tables on the poor moderator. Vettel's quick response was gold, as F1's own writers later put it. In that moment, we saw Vettel's personality shine. Equal parts smart aleck and class clown, even after a tough season. The clip of this exchange spread like wildfire, giving fans a gem of a meme. Gentlemen, a short view back to the past became a running joke for overly long questions. Vettel's press conference zinger is remembered as one of the funniest F1 press conference moments, proving drivers can deliver punchlines as well as lap times. Daniel Ricciardo and the Shuy. Take one Aussie driver with a megawatt smile, add champagne, and a very sweaty racing boot, and you get the Shuy, courtesy of Daniel Ricciardo. In 2016, Ricciardo made a habit of celebrating podiums by pouring champagne into his shoe and chugging it. Yes, it's equal parts hilarious and disgusting. By the Malaysian Grand Prix that year, not only was Daniel doing it, but he was peer pressuring everyone on the podium to join in. After winning in Sepang, Ricciardo gleefully offered his drenched boot to teammates and even celebrities, and they drank. Red Bull team boss Christian Horner, fellow driver Max Verstappen, and even actor Gerard Butler were among the victims of this icky tradition. The real comedy was in their faces. Poor Nico Rosberg looked like he might gag after taking a sip from Ricciardo's well-worn racing boot. The crowd roared, the internet exploded, and the Shuy became an instant F1 meme. Ricciardo's infectious laugh and "why not" attitude made the whole thing even funnier. He was having the time of his life, grossing out his friends. Love it or hate it, the Shuy gave us some of the most wildly funny podium moments ever. It's the kind of absurd celebration that could only come from the mind of Daniel Ricciardo, and we fans drank it up. Fernando Alonso's deck chair adventures. When life gives you lemons or a broken race car, sometimes you just sunbathe. That's how Fernando Alonso turned frustration into hilarity at the 2015 Brazilian GP. In qualifying, his McLaren conked out early, again. Rather than mope, Alonso found a folding deck chair, plopped it down beside the track, and relaxed like he was poolside at a resort. Arms behind his head, big grin on his face. He even pretended to catch some rays. This absurd image of a two-time world champion chilling on a lawn chair while F1 cars zoomed by instantly went viral on social media. The hashtag places Alonso would rather be trended worldwide as fans photoshopped Fernando's lounging pose into all sorts of funny scenarios. Even McLaren's CEO Ron Dennis, notorious for his seriousness, admitted he laughed at Alonso's antics and had no problem with a bit of humor in such a tough season. And Alonso wasn't done. 1 year later at Interlagos in 2016, his car broke down again. So he grabbed a TV cameraman's camera and started filming the race himself. He jokingly tried to zoom in on rival cars, but mostly got blurry shots, later laughing that he needs to improve my skills. These back-to-back Interlagos incidents showed Alonso's comedic resilience. Fans were in stitches seeing a superstar driver handling misfortune with a shrug, a smile, and meme-worthy creativity. Fernando's deck chair episodes remain all-time F1 comedy classics that turned breakdowns into belly laughs. Mononttoya gets pranked down under. Not all F1 laughs come from drivers trying to be funny. Sometimes they're unintentionally hilarious. Case in point, the 2004 Australian GP press event where Juan Pablo Montoya fell victim to a prank that had the room roaring. Two cheeky Australian comedians infiltrated a Williams sponsor press conference pretending to be reporters. They bombarded Montoya with silly questions and even a live phone call bit. At first, the Colombian ace tried to play along, but the absurdity kept escalating. He warned them, "Either this stops or I walk off," as one prankster jabbered into a phone mid-event. Sure enough, when they handed Montoya a phone asking if he'd play golf, he lost his patience. Montoya ripped off his mic and stormed out, furious. The comedians had effectively punked a top F1 driver on the world stage. While Montoya was livid, everyone else was laughing at the ridiculousness. The juxtaposition of Montoya's fiery temper with the comedian's goofy antics made for unintentionally great comedy. Headlines read, "Montoya misses the joke," but fans sure didn't. Clips of the stunt spread, and it's still remembered as a bizarre, funny moment in F1 press history. Montoya's boiling reaction, "He did not appreciate the Aussie humor," an organizer dryly noted, only made it more of a hoot. This incident lives on as a reminder that F1 drivers aren't always amused by pranks, but the rest of us sure were. Checo and the UFC announcer mix-up. Jump to 2023 for a moment of pure awkward comedy. Formula One's first race in Las Vegas brought glitz, glam, and Bruce Buffer, the UFC's iconic announcer, to introduce drivers at the opening ceremony. Buffer gave Sergio Checo Perez, a booming grand introduction worthy of a title fight. Checo walked out basking in the hype, and then promptly became totally confused. He wasn't sure where to go or what to do after his big intro. Instead of moving along, Checo just stood there on stage, staring into Bruce Buffer's eyes like a deer in headlights. Buffer stared back. A few painfully long seconds passed. The crowd giggled. Finally, a coordinator motioned Sergio in the right direction, and the moment passed, but oh boy, it was beautifully awkward and hilarious. F1's own year-end awards even named it the funniest moment of 2023. Fans loved seeing the usually cool and collected Checo looking utterly perplexed, giving Buffer a "what now, boss?" harda look. It was such a human, memeable slip-up amid an over-the-top Vegas show. In a season full of intense races, this random pre-race blooper stole the spotlight for a laugh. The lesson: even the most unexpected pair, a Mexican F1 star and an MMA announcer, can accidentally conjure up the funniest moment of the year. What happens in Vegas gets replayed on YouTube forever. Johnny Herbert's hoverboard wipeout. During the 2016 British Grand Prix weekend, former F1 driver Johnny Herbert decided to try some new technology on live TV, with side-splitting results. On Sky Sports' broadcast in front of the Silverstone crowd, Johnny stepped onto a two-wheeled hoverboard, grinning and perhaps overly confident. At first, he was doing okay, wobbling around with a smile. But you could sense viewers holding their breath because you know what's coming. Suddenly, whoosh! Johnny loses balance and faceplants onto the asphalt, legs flying hilariously in the air. The timing was perfect. He wiped out hard right on the start-finish straight, live in front of thousands of fans. An embarrassed Herbert popped back up with a sheepish laugh as everyone, commentators, crowd, and viewers at home, burst out laughing. Sky Sports later joked, "It all seemed like a good idea until the inevitable occurred," and replayed the clip of Johnny sprawling on the track. The fact that Herbert is an ex-driver who handled 200 mph race cars but got defeated by a slow-moving hoverboard made it even funnier. To his credit, Johnny laughed at himself and took it in stride. His hoverboard tumble quickly became an F1 internet highlight reel staple. It's a reminder that in racing, as in life, gravity always wins. And sometimes the biggest crashes off track are the ones that leave us in stitches. When Godzilla invaded the track, finally, a bonus moment too weird and wonderful to ignore. The time Max Verstappen met a giant lizard. Singapore 2016, during practice, Max comes around a corner and suddenly sees a huge monitor lizard crossing the track. His reaction over team radio was half amused, half incredulous. "Whoa, there's a giant lizard on the track. I'm not joking," he exclaimed. You can almost hear the grin on his face. Quick as ever, his race engineer, mixing humor with guidance, quipped back, "Face to face with Godzilla there, mate." Max laughed. "Yeah." The entire exchange was just hilarious. Here we are in a serious practice session, and suddenly it's a scene from a monster movie. The radio clip went viral among fans who couldn't get enough of Verstappen versus Godzilla. The absurd mental image of a giant reptile interrupting an F1 session had everyone giggling. Even the usually stern Singapore marshals found it funny as they shooed the lizard away. This incident showed that F1's unpredictability isn't limited to weather or crashes. Sometimes nature itself gives us a laugh. The giant lizard on track became one of the most memorable radio moments of that season, proving even drivers can drop a one-liner when a scaly surprise comes their way. It's a reminder that in Formula One, you truly must expect the unexpected, even Godzilla. From Kimi's candid bathroom confession to Max's reptilian roadblock, these unexpected moments had fans around the globe clutching their sides with laughter. They've become legendary footnotes in F1 history, replayed on highlight reels, immortalized in memes, and told as stories that capture the lighter side of a typically intense sport. Comedic tone and all, such moments resonate because they show our racing heroes are human. In a world of split-second timing and serious stakes, a good laugh is the ultimate unplanned victory. So here's to the funny moments in Formula One. Long may they continue to surprise us and keep us entertained, because sometimes laughter is the fastest way to bring everyone together. And that's a wrap on some of the most unexpected laugh-out-loud moments in modern Formula One. Which one had you cracking up the most? Drop it in the comments below, and if you want more hilarious F1 chaos, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next lap of madness.